Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's always in the conclusion of a program that, mashallah, people decide to show up. They say only when a wife never praises her husband except for 2 times. Before she marries him, she tells everyone, I'm getting married. You know who I'm getting married to? He's like this, he's like that. Once they get married, those praises stop. Once he dies, she tells everyone, you know who I used to be married to? Yeah, that was my husband. Khair. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم طه ما أنزلنا عليك القرآن لتشقى إلا تذكرة لمن يخشى تنزيلا ممن خلق الأرض والسماوات العلى الرحمن على العرش استوى له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وما بينهما وما تحت الثرى وإن تجهر بالقول فإنه يعلم السر وأخفى الله لا إله إلا هو له الأسماء الحسنى وهل أتاك حديث موسى إذ رأى نارا فقال لأهلهم كثوا إني آنست نارا لعلي آتيكم منها بقبس أو أجد على النار هدى فلما أتاها نودي يا موسى إني أنا ربك فاخلع عليك إنك بالواد المقدس طوى وأنا اخترتك فاستمع لما يوحى إنني أنا الله إنني أنا الله لا إله إلا أنا فاعبدني وأقم الصلاة لذكري بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اهتدى أما بعد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما اللهم فقهنا في الدين وعلمنا التأويل وألهمنا رشدنا يا رب العالمين قال الله تعالى والسابقون الأولون من المهاجرين والأنصار والذين اتبعوهم بإحسان رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه صدق الله العظيم. My dear respected Muslims, Ibn Abi Dunya rahimahullah, he mentions a narration and he says iltaqa rajulani fi suq. There were 2 people that were walking and they met each other in the marketplace. And as they met each other in the marketplace, the one says to the other, Ta'al, nadhkurullah ta'ala fi ghaflatin nas. He says, my brother, come, let's remember Allah and let's speak about Allah in an environment where generally people are easily neglectful of the presence of Allah. The Rasul ﷺ said in a narration that the masajid are the most beloved of places to Allah, and the marketplaces are those places, or from those places which Allah severely dislikes. So they spend a moment speaking about Allah. And then one of them goes to sleep and he passes away. And the latter sees the former in a dream and he asks him, what happened? When you transition from the alam of the dunya to the alam of barzakh, what happened and what did Allah do to you? So the one who passed away responds to him and he says, as a token of acknowledgement and appreciation for the moment where we remembered Allah in an environment of heedlessness and neglectfulness, that action was so beloved to my Allah that my Allah forgave me on token of appreciation of that one action. So as we come to the end of 20 weeks, we make a dua to Allah from the depth of our hearts, that maybe one of these 20 weeks or one moment within these 20 weeks was a moment where Allah's special rahmat descended and Allah said, Qumu, all of you stand, for verily you are forgiven. One day there was a scholar by the name of Imam Asma'i rahimahullah. He says, I was walking. We mentioned the incident in Jumu'ah this week. And as Imam Asma'i rahimahullah is walking, he sees a young woman who's singing some couplets. And she's singing, Astaghfirullah li dhanbi kullihi, qabbaltu insanan bighayri hillihi, مثل الغزال ناعما في دله انتصف الليل ولم أصلي. She's lamenting and regretting a moment that was spent in the disobedience of Allah. And then Imam Asma'i, who was a scholar of Lughah, a scholar of Quran, a scholar of the Arabic language, he says to her that ما أفصحك, how beautiful and eloquent are these words that you are saying. And then she turns around, she focuses her attention on him, and she tells him, you're praising me for these couplets and these abiyat and these ash'ar that I've said, these lines and stanzas of poetry, but you have the Quran which is full of eloquence. And then she quotes one ayah where Allah speaks about وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَىٰ أُمِّ مُوسَىٰ أَنْ أَرْضِعِي فَإِذَا خِفْتِ عَلَيْهِ فَأَلْقِيهِ فِي الْيَمِّ وَلَا تَخَافِي وَلَا تَحْزَنِي إِنَّا رَادُّوهُ إِلَيْكِ وَجَاعِلُوهُ مِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. Where Allah says, we inspired the mother of Musa that feed him and give him milk. When you fear over his life, فَإِذَا خِفْتِ عَلَيْهِ, throw him in the water. Don't be sad, don't be grieved. Why? Because we will return to him to you as a prophet. And then she tells Imam Asma'i rahimahullah, اجتمعت هذه الآية بين أمرين ونهيين وبشارتين وخبرين. That short, concise, one ayah of Quran, Allah has given two commands, Allah has mentioned two prohibitions, Allah has given two glad tidings, and Allah has also informed the mother of Musa with regards to two things. And Imam Asma'i rahimahullah, he has to attest to the fact that the kalam of Allah and the balagha and the eloquence in the kalam of Allah knew no other. There was nothing that was as baligh and as fasih as the book of Allah. Before we come on to our companion of today, I want to mention to you a story. And the story is that there was a man who was generally very used to intoxicating himself. And he was a person whose morning and evening began with drinking. His morning and his evening was alcohol, alcohol, alcohol. And as he's going into these dark dungeons and as he's going into this addiction of drinking, his parents finally decide to get him married. And I mentioned the other day that generally what happens in the subcontinent, if a kid is in addiction, the parents feel the solution is getting married. He's addicted to whatever he's addicted to, drug. He's a drug addict. Shadi kara lo theek ho jayega. And we fail to realize you are destroying someone's life. And what do we expect? When the family of that girl will do some background research, we expect everyone to conceal his addiction. Ghiba is haram. Backbiting is haram. But there are certain instances where ghiba isn't only halal, it's commended. There are certain instances where you are commanded to open up the reality. Someone is planning and plotting to kill someone, and they told it to you in a private gathering. You are mandated to disclose that information to anyone who can potentially save a life. So his parents say, let's get him married. Once he gets married, Allah blesses him with a young daughter. And as he's blessed with this young daughter, he says that my daughter used to, as she was growing up, she would tug at my beard. Sometimes when I had the glass in my hand, she would throw it onto the ground and she would say, Baba, Baba. But I couldn't leave my addiction. And then he says that my Allah tested me and my daughter passed away. And the moment my daughter passed away, I went deep into that ocean of darkness. ظُلُمَاتٌ بَعْضُهَا فَوْقَ بَعْضٍ. Such darkness where I was totally always in a constant state of intoxication. He says, one day in this state I decide and I go to sleep. And I see a vision. And I see a dream. And the dream that I see, it's the day of Qiyamah. And he says, when I see that it's the day of Qiyamah, people are running. People got no direction. The day of Qiyamah is a very scary day. And Allah says that on the day of Qiyamah, you will consider people to be intoxicated, but the reality is they're not intoxicated. وَمَا أَدَرَاكَ مَا الْقَارِعَةُ يَوْمَ يَكُونُ النَّاسُ كَالْفَرَاشِ الْمَبْثُوثِ. How does Allah describe how humanity will be on the day of Qiyamah? If you are outside and you light something, the way the flies and the moths will just come and fly around that fire or that light haphazardly, without any direction, hitting the light, going close to the fire and retracting. That will be the state of insan. He says, in this state I was running, I was fleeing, I was escaping, I was moving. He says, as I am running, I look behind and I see that there's a serpent that's chasing me. A huge serpent that's after me. He says, as I'm escaping, I come to the edge of the cliff, and at the bottom of the cliff there's a raging fire. Where do I go? How do I save myself? What do I do? What do I decide? He says, in that moment I decided perhaps it'll be better, let me jump. He says, as I was about to jump, I heard a voice from the unseen saying, you don't have any place here, find a way out. So he says, somehow I was able to get away, and I found an elderly man. And I told the elderly man, please help me, there's a snake behind me. And the elderly man told me, I'm weak, I'm feeble, I'm old, I can't do much, I'm lame, I'm lethargic. Why don't you go to the top of that mountain, and under a tree you'll see some people that will be able to help you. So he says, I went to the top of the mountain. The entirety is in his vision. He says, I went to the top of the mountain and I saw a tree and I saw a man with young children around him. And as I edged closer and I analyzed the children that were there, my eyes fell on my daughter. He says, as I saw my daughter ran to me and I picked her up and I embraced her. He said, the warmth, the love, the compassion. Any person who's a father, you know, when you walk home after, and you enter your home after a difficult day of work, and your children come running towards you and they jump into your arms. That's an emotion that any language cannot do justice to explaining the feeling. So he says that my daughter came into my arm and she asked me, Baba, Baba, are you still drinking? Baba, Baba, are you still intoxicated? And then she quoted the ayah, أَلَمْ يَأْنِ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَن تَخْشَعَ قُلُوبُهُمْ لِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. She says, Baba, that serpent and that snake that was chasing you, that was your evil deeds. Baba, look how huge that snake was, because you continue to feed it and feed it. You continue to disobey Allah after command. You continue to break the ahkam of Allah, command after command, till that serpent became as big as it became, oh my Baba, oh my father. And oh my Baba, that elderly man, that weak, feeble individual who you asked to help you, oh my Baba, that's your good deeds. You haven't fed him enough. You haven't done enough good, oh my father. And as a consequence, that serpent would have at some stage devoured you, and that sin would have totally destroyed you. Oh my father, the time has come for you to leave these sins. And she quotes the one ayah from Quran. The man says, my eyes opened, the dream and the vision concluded, and then I woke up that morning and I changed the entirety of my life forever. And today you and I know him as the great Malik bin Dinar rahmatullahi alayhi. The great Malik bin Dinar rahmatullahi alayhi. Our companion of tonight is a companion that Aisha radiallahu anha used to say, لو شئتم أن يطيب الكلام فعليكم بعمر. If you ever want to enjoy a discussion and a discourse, if you ever want to hear good stories, stories that will motivate you and maybe perhaps even allow you to build within yourself the resilience, the strength, the motivation to want to become a friend of Allah, then you have to read the stories of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu an. بِذِكْرِ الصَّالِحِينَ تَنزِلُ الرَّحْمَةِ. The scholars of the past used to say that when you take the name of the pious of the past, those majalis and those gatherings are full of barakah and rahmah. So today we start with the story of Umar radiallahu anhu. Whenever we think of Umar, we think of Mus'ab bin Umair was a young companion. We think of Abdullah bin Mas'ud was a young companion. Then we think of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he was the same age as the Rasul, 2 years younger. And when we think of Umar and the maqam of Umar, we think Umar also accepted Islam very late in his life. When the Rasul was blessed with nubuwwah, Umar radiallahu anhu was in his mid-20s. He was a giant of a man. Everyone speaks about the jalal and the power of Umar. When he spoke, certain riwayat indicate and suggest his voice was so powerful, if you were weak-hearted, you would fall unconscious if he was to raise his voice slightly. That's how powerful his voice was. He was tall in stature. He was very physically strong and able and capable. and his uncle or his family member is Abu Jahl. And when Abu Jahl responds to the message of the Risala of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Umar radiallahu anhu feels uncomfortable. Because Abu Jahl tells this young Umar, "Oh Umar, what is Muhammad doing? Muhammad is breaking up the society that we live in. Muhammad is breaking up the household. Muhammad has forsaken the religion of our forefathers." And Umar radiallahu anhu starts to feel some type of way towards the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because Umar radiallahu anhu was about community. Umar radiallahu anhu was about a family. Umar radiallahu anhu was what's better on a communal level. It wasn't about him. Today we're living in a world where it's about me. Umar radiallahu anhu told you and I that sometimes you got to think outside the box. This ummah was never a selfish ummah. We were a selfless ummah. So Umar radiallahu anhu starts seeing that people are now accepting Islam. And whenever he would see that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is giving da'wah to someone, Umar radiallahu anhu, when the Rasul would leave, would go to that person and would start to tell him, don't follow Muhammad. So whenever Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam spoke to someone and the Rasul left, Umar radiallahu anhu would follow and would convince that person not to accept Islam. One day Umar radiallahu anhu is walking. Some Sahaba have decided we're moving from Mecca to Abyssinia. And there's a woman by the name of Abdullah whose husband was Amir. She says, my husband went to take care of some things and there was a few of us were preparing to migrate, and Umar radiallahu anhu passes by. And when Umar passed by, he meant one thing, that was trouble. And he says that everyone, she says, we were scared, we were nervous, we were anxious, we were anticipating, what is Umar going to do? And then she says, as Umar passed by, he asked us, where are you going? So we responded and we told him that we can't live in Mecca anymore. Mecca's too difficult. How can we stay in a place where we can't follow our religion? And at that moment, Umar radiallahu anhu said to them, may Allah be with you. He continues, and then the husband comes home, and then the wife goes to the husband and she tells the husband, you know, today something happened. When Umar passed by as we were gathering our belongings, Umar radiallahu anhu asked us, where are we going? And when we responded, he told us, he informed us that may Allah be with you. And I sensed that there's a soft spot inside that giant of a man. Yes, he may be physically capable and he may be tall and he may be strong and powerful. But the sentiment that he extended towards us when he said that may Allah be with you, I feel that there's a soft spot. There's some rahmah within Umar. What did the husband respond? The husband says, I have full conviction that the donkey of Khattab will accept Islam before Umar will accept Islam. Meaning it's impossible. Umar accepting Islam isn't a reality, it's impossible. Umar radiallahu anhu's journey to Islam began with that moment. One day Umar radiallahu anhu comes by the Kaaba, and as he comes by the Kaaba, he sees the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is close to the Kaaba. So he goes, and some riwayat suggest that he went between and within the cloth of the Kaaba, and he went close to the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is reciting Quran. And as the Rasul is reciting Quran, Umar radiallahu anhu says that I was so close to him that I concluded and I thought to myself that this is the word of a poet. And he says, no sooner did I assume that Muhammad is singing poetry, the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam reciting Surah Haqqa recited, وَمَا هُوَ بِقَوْلِ شَاعِرٍ قَلِيلًا مَا تُؤْمِنُونَ. That the Quran isn't the word of a poet. Seldom do they believe. And Umar radiallahu anhu got shocked. Can he hear what I'm thinking? Can he understand what's in my heart? Maybe perhaps if that's the case, he's a kahin. And then immediately the next verse Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam recited, وَلَا بِقَوْلِ كَاهٍ قَلِيلًا مَا تَذَكَّرُونَ. That this Quran isn't the word of a magician, it isn't the word of a fortune teller. And Umar radiallahu anhu says, that shook me. That was the second incident that began shaping the future of this man who was going to be a leader of the ummah. The final incident, he says, one day Abu Jahl gathered our community. And as Abu Jahl gathered our community, again, he started to rally the people against Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he says, the time has come where we got to get rid of the problem. Muhammad has been causing and sowing the seeds of disunity for so long, someone has to kill him. Someone's got to take him out. So Umar radiallahu anhu says, internally I decided I'm going to be that person. He says, I had my sword with me, and I am marching towards the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I bumped into a companion by the name of Nu'aym bin Abdullah radiallahu anhu. Nu'aym was a Muslim, but he had concealed his Islam. He hadn't disclosed it. It wasn't public information. He says, as Nu'aym came in front of me, and Nu'aym asked me, oh Umar, where are you going? So he says, I'm going to take the life of Muhammad. I'm going to assassinate Muhammad, I'm going to murder him, enough is enough. And Nu'aym tried to calm him down. He says, but what about the family and the tribe of Muhammad? They will definitely seek retribution. What are you going to do? They're going to come after your life. And Umar says, no problem. Come what may, I will take the life of Muhammad today. And then Nu'aym says, I got worried. I wanted to stall him because I wanted to protect the Rasul. To a degree where Umar turned around and he said, oh Nu'aym, why are you so worried? Are you Muslim? And Nu'aym said, no, I'm not Muslim, but I just don't want your life to be taken. And then when he saw that nothing could stop Umar, he tells Umar, oh Umar, before you go to take the life of the Rasul ﷺ, your sisters accepted Islam. There's a problem in your own household. There's a fire in your own house. Extinguish that fire before you go to Muhammad. So then Umar radiallahu anhu says, I turned and I went to the house of my sister. As I came close, I heard someone reciting something. And as I entered the home, he went to his sister's house, Fatima bint al-Khattab. Her husband was Sa'id bin Zayd, the companion who was teaching husband and wife Quran. What a lesson for you and I to take. Husband and wife learning how to recite the book of Allah. Today, unfortunately, many a time as parents, we're so focused on teaching our children, husband and wife both don't know how to read. Khabbab ibn al-Arat radiallahu anhu, who was teaching them, when he heard Umar, he hid. Umar radiallahu anhu comes in the house. And then he asked Fatima bint al-Khattab and his brother-in-law, what are you doing? And Sa'id bin Zayd, he gives very vague answers. And finally Umar radiallahu anhu loses his patience and he starts to beat his brother-in-law. He's beating him so fiercely that Fatima bint al-Khattab says, as I came in the way to perhaps defend my husband, he swung his arm hit me in the face, and I started to bleed. And Umar radiallahu anhu, all of a sudden he froze. You know, sometimes in the fit of anger, you may say something, and once it comes out, then you realize, hold on, what did I just say? And then you go to the Shaykh and you say, Shaykh, I gave 3 talaqs. Is it 3 or is it 1? Help me out. We always ask the Shaykh after the problem. We never go before the problem. What do they say? Prevention is better than cure. We want a cure. We don't want to worry about how to prevent the problem. So he says, when I saw blood on the face of my sister, I froze. And I said, oh Umar, what did you just do? Oh Umar, that's your blood. Oh Umar, how dare you? And then he says, I started to ask my sister and my sister started to speak to me. And my sister told me, oh Umar, we are Muslims. I believe in Allah. Sa'id said, I believe in Allah. Nothing will stop us from our religion. Yes, last week we spoke about what companion? His name was Suhaib al-Rumi radiallahu anhu. Suhaib al-Rumi, when he was going for hijrah, he gave the entirety of his wealth. 100% of his wealth he gave, everything. What does she say? We are going to accept Islam. We've accepted, we're not leaving. Islam is our faith. And at that moment, Umar radiallahu anhu starts to ask some questions. And he says, what's that? And they say, that's the Quran. He extends his hand and his sister says, oh my brother, I love you and I care for you, but to be honest, you're not worthy of touching that. He says, no, I want to know, I want to read, I want to understand the message of Muhammad. She says, لا يمسه إلا المطهرون. You got to be clean and pure. You got to be clean and pure if you want to touch the Quran. So he takes a bath or he takes a ghusl, he cleanses himself. And then Umar radiallahu anhu picks up those ayat of Quran and he recites, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Taha. ما أنزلنا عليك القرآن لتشقى إلا تذكرة لمن يخشى تنزيلا ممن خلق الأرض والسماوات العلى. And he's reading. And as he's reading, he's crying. As he's reading, he's crying. He comes to the ayah where Allah says, إِنَّنِي أَنَا اللَّهِ إِنَّنِي أَنَا اللَّهِ. Verily I am Allah. La ilaha illa ana. There is no deity worthy of worship but me. Fa'budni, so worship me. Wa aqimi as-salata li dhikri, and establish the salah for my remembrance. And Umar radiallahu anhu says that when I read these ayat of Quran, they were so powerful. They struck me so profoundly that I said to my sister, take me to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Take me to Muhammad. And my sister said, you got evil intentions, I can't take you. He says, no, I will accept Islam. They take him to the house of al-Arqam, and as they come close, there was some Sahaba in the house. So the Sahaba in the house, when they see that Umar is coming, and he's got his sword with him, naturally they started to fear. In the house at that time was Hamza radiallahu anhu, who had accepted Islam a few moments before. Prior to Umar radiallahu anhu leaving the house of his sister, Khabbab, who was hiding, comes out, and when he hears they're going to the Rasul to accept Islam, he says, oh Umar, glad tidings to you. Because a few days ago or recently, I heard the Rasul ﷺ raise his hands and make a dua. Oh Allah, grant Islam strength and victory either through Abu Jahl or Umar ibn al-Khattab, whichever of the two are more beloved to you. Oh Allah, grant victory to the Muslims through that companion. And oh Umar, it seems like that dua of the Rasul was accepted in your favor. Umar radiallahu anhu comes close to the house of al-Arqam ibn Abi al-Arqam, and Sahaba inside are worried. Hamza radiallahu anhu tells them that, you know what, it's Umar. If Umar wants to accept Islam and if Allah wishes good for him, we will welcome him with open arms. If Umar has an evil intention, I, Hamza, will take care of him. Umar radiallahu anhu knocks on the door. The door is open and then the Rasul receives Umar, a giant of a man, an arch enemy of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a man who exited from his home that day with the intention to assassinate the Rasul. The Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam comes to him and the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam grabs him and shakes him. And the Rasul has a very straightforward conversation with him. And finally Umar radiallahu anhu says, oh Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I've come to accept the deen of Islam. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an, oh Muhammad, I am here to accept the religion. And then they gather and they sit. And then Umar radiallahu anhu says to the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rasulullah, alasna ala al-haq? Ya Rasulullah, are we not on the truth? Ya Rasulullah, are we not on the haq? Rasulullah says, oh, of course we are. He says, then why are we hiding? Why are we shy to show everyone our Islam? And everyone says, Allahu Akbar. When Umar accepted Islam, the entirety of Sahaba said, Allahu Akbar. Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam says that when the angels in the heavens heard the takbir of the Sahaba in that house, in that moment, the angels in the heavens also said takbir and also said Allahu Akbar. Umar radiallahu anhu goes out. And as he goes out, he goes by the Kaaba. First he goes to the house of Abu Jahl. Umar radiallahu anhu taught you and I what it means to be a man. He taught you and I what it means to be a rajul. Because by the qasam of Allah, like I said a few weeks ago, we've lost that sense of honor in being Muslims. He goes, where does he go? He goes straight to Abu Jahl and he knocks on the door. Abu Jahl opens the door and he receives him. He doesn't know he's accepted Islam. And then when he receives him, Umar radiallahu anhu says to him, I just wanted to inform you, I wanted you to hear it directly from me, that I have accepted the deen of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He went straight to Abu Jahl. Abu Jahl said, no way, that's impossible. That can't happen. And he says, no, I've accepted and I wanted you to know and I wanted you to be aware. And then Umar radiallahu anhu goes by the Kaaba and he publicly announces his Islam. Some people try to jump him. Some people try to attack him. And one by one Umar radiallahu anhu is taking them out. One by one Umar radiallahu anhu is taking them out. He was the person who publicly showed his Islam to the entirety of the Quraysh. Umar radiallahu anhu, with his Islam turned the page. The seerah of the Rasul changed thereafter. Everything changed. Because now you had Hamza and you had Umar. And behind them Sahaba and in the middle of them Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What a sight. Sahaba say whenever the Rasul would come in the masjid, many a time he would hold Abu Bakr in his right hand and he would hold Umar in his left hand, or with his left hand, and he would come into his masjid. That was the sight. The Rasul Abu Bakr Umar, the Rasul Abu Bakr Umar. Umar radiallahu anhu accepts Islam. And when they come to Medina to Munawwara, every battle Umar radiallahu anhu was with the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's already 9:23, we continue. Towards the end of the life of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, we fast forward. Umar radiallahu anhu, one element of his life which is very important, is known as the muwafaqat of Umar. Umar radiallahu anhu was that companion who Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if there was to have been a prophet after me, it would have been Umar. One of the reasons for that was the foresight that Umar radiallahu anhu was blessed with. So he would come to the Rasul and make a suggestion or voice an opinion, and ayat would be revealed that aligned with the opinion and the suggestion of Umar radiallahu anhu. So it's the battle of Badr. After the battle of Badr, the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has some captives. The Rasul asked Abu Bakr, what should we do? Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu says, Ya Rasulullah, you should free them in exchange for a ransom. Umar radiallahu anhu says, Ya Rasulullah, we need to set a precedent to ensure people understand the severity of the crime of attacking the Muslim. So, oh Rasulullah, my opinion is we take their lives. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went with the opinion of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. The captives were freed in exchange for a ransom. Umar radiallahu anhu says, I came to the masjid the next day and I see that the Rasul and Abu Bakr are crying profusely. So I said, Ya Rasulullah, what happened? Ya Rasulullah, what's wrong? Ya Rasulullah, is everything okay? And then the Rasul ﷺ tells Umar that, oh Umar, an ayah was revealed unto me, مَا كَانَ لِنَبِيٍّ أَن يَكُونَ لَهُ أَسْرَى حَتَّى يُثْخِنَ فِي الْأَرْضِ, that indicated that I was supposed to have taken your opinion and your suggestion over the suggestion of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. The Rasul is told by Umar that, Ya Rasulullah, when Maqam Ibrahim is, when we do tawaf, we should perhaps perform some salah behind or close to the Maqam Ibrahim. The ayah was revealed, وَاتَّخِذُوا مِن مَقَامِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ مُصَلَّى وَاتَّخِذُوا مِن مَقَامِ. Whenever any of us go on Hajj, Umrah, what do? After the 7th tawaf, the first thing you do, it's wajib, according to the Hanafi school, that you pray 2 raka'at behind the Maqam Ibrahim. Where did that begin? That was the foresight and the firasa of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu. Ayat of hijab were revealed due to what Umar radiyallahu anhu said to the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the prohibition or the explicit prohibition of alcohol. There's an ayah that's revealed to the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam that indicates that alcohol is harmful, that its cons outweigh its pros. And then Umar radiyallahu anhu raises his hands, oh Allah, we need some bayan and shafiya. Oh Allah, it's not clear. We don't know. Like, is it haram? Is it something we should prohibit? Is it something we should stay away from? We don't know what to do, Ya Rasulullah. And then Allah reveals another verse. Again, Umar raises his hands. Oh Allah, it's not clear. We don't know. Can we drink? Perhaps. The Quran is saying, لا تقربوا الصلاة وأنتم سكارى. Don't come to salah in the state of intoxication. Does that mean when I don't intend to pray salah, I can intoxicate myself? Oh Allah, we need bayan and shafiya. Oh Allah, we need it to be explicit and clear. Until finally the ayah that prohibited alcohol was revealed. The firasa, the foresight of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu. Before we conclude, I want to go to his khilafah. Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu appoints him as the leader. You know, when you become a leader, it's very easy. It's very easy. First of all, everyone wants to be an amir. Everyone wants to be a leader. When Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu called Umar, and he said, oh Umar, you will be the Amirul Mu'mineen of the Ummah. The Amirul Mu'mineen of the Ummah, the first person to have the title of Amirul Mu'mineen was Umar radiyallahu anhu. And Umar says to Abu Bakr, oh Abu Bakr, don't do this to me. Abu Bakr, I can't. The respect the two of them had, the friendship they had, wallahi, was unique and amazing. Someone came to Umar one day and they said, oh Umar, I think you're better than Abu Bakr. Oh Umar, I think, you know, if someone comes to us today and says, you know, or imagine a father-in-law has 2 son-in-laws, he says, you know what, I love you, or I'm closer to you than the other one. Or if someone says to one imam, you know what, I think you're better than the imam in the other masjid, your ego immediately becomes inflated. What did Umar radiyallahu anhu say? He says to the guy who probably wanted to score some brownie points, he says, come here. He says, let me tell you something about Abu Bakr. The one day after the death of the Rasul, and the one night, which was the time of the hijrah of the Rasul from the life of Umar, one day and one night in the life of Abu Bakr, khayrun min Umar wa ali Umar, is not only better than Umar, it's better than the entire progeny of Umar. So if you're trying to make me and inflate my ego and make me feel, no. One man says, I came to the masjid and I saw someone kissing the forehead of someone else. So I asked, manil muqabbil wa manil muqabbal, who is kissing and whose forehead is being kissed? They said, Hada Umar. This is Umar who is kissing the forehead of Abu Bakr. And he tells Abu Bakr, Lawla anta halakna. Oh Abu Bakr, if it wasn't for you, the ummah would have been destroyed. Umar radiyallahu anhu becomes Khalifa. The first sermon he gives, full of humility. He says to the people, because people were worried. When Rasulullah was alive, as a Nabi, Umar was very vocal of his opinion. When Abu Bakr was alive, as a Khalifa, Umar was still very vocal of his opinion. And now Umar has become the leader. What's going to happen to us? So people were concerned. And Umar radiyallahu anhu said that the strength and the power that I carry, I will continue to carry it forward. But it will be against those who carry out oppression. Umar radiyallahu anhu gave you and I a glimpse of what it means to establish justice on earth. The justice of Umar radiyallahu anhu knew no bounds. The humility of Umar radiyallahu anhu one day is going. And as he's traveling, as he's in the city, he says to Abdurrahman bin Auf, go to the masjid and call the adhan. So the adhan is called. Now at that time, when the adhan was called at a time where it wasn't the time of salah, it was an indication that there was an announcement to be made, or something important, or some important information needed to be shared. So the adhan is given, the entirety of the camp of Sahaba come to the masjid. Umar radiyallahu anhu begins his sermon. And his sermon is just praising Allah, sending durood on the Rasul. And he says, I just wanted to inform all of you, Umar once upon a time used to be a shepherd. Umar used to take care of animals. That is the reality of who Umar is. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. He ends his lecture. Abdurrahman bin Auf goes, "Oh Umar, generally the adhan is given to tell people there's something important." Umar says, "Oh Abdurrahman, let me tell you what happened today. Today as I was walking, I started to think, oh Umar, you're the Khalifa and the leader of the Muslims. Because of your justice and because of your vision for Islam, Islam has conquered the Roman lands and the Persian lands, and Islam is expanding. Oh Umar, all of this is because of your efforts." He says, "Oh Abdurrahman, I needed to control my nafs. I needed to check my ego. And as a consequence, I wanted everyone to know that the reality of Umar is a nobody. Umar is a shepherd." One day Umar is walking and he overhears a conversation between a mother and a daughter. And the mother is encouraging the daughter, or rather commanding the daughter, to join and dilute the milk with water, so that the quantity can be increased and the profits can be maximized. And then the mother commands the daughter, and the daughter responds, "Oh my mother, inna Umar nahana an dhalik." Umar has prohibited us from diluting milk with the water. And then the mother responds, "Fa'ina Umar, inna Umar la yarana." "Oh my daughter, you're saying Umar has prohibited it, but Umar can't see us. Umar, where is Umar? Umar's not here, it's the dead of the night." And then at that moment, the daughter reminds the mother, "Inna Umar la yarana wa Rabba Umar yarana." "Oh my mother, Umar can't see us, but by the qasam of Allah, the Lord of Umar can see us." Umar was so impacted by this answer of this girl. He goes home and he asks one of his sons who wasn't married that, "You know what, I think I found the perfect spouse for you." He takes the proposal of his son Asim to the mother of that daughter, and he says, "I want my son Asim to marry your daughter." And that girl then went on to become the grandmother of Umar bin Abdul Aziz rahimahullah, who was known for his justice. Umar had an eye for oppression. One day Umar is walking, and that's who a leader is. Umar never just ascended the mimbar, gave the lecture, and then went home and he was part and parcel. He was a part of the fabric of the community. Because when as a leader you become a fabric of the society, you understand the problems of people. So when you speak to them, you're not speaking from an abstract understanding of the realities that people are contending with on a daily basis. So Umar one day he's walking, and as he's walking he sees a mother, and the mother her child is crying. So Umar tells the mother that, "You know, take care of your child is crying." And after a while he comes back and the child is still crying. And he tells the mother, "Just take care of your child is crying." Multiple times this happens. And then the mother says to Umar, not recognizing who he was, "Wallahi, when you think of Umar, the leader of the Muslim empire, and a person sees him and they don't recognize him." One man came from the Persians by the name of, I believe his name was Hurmuz. He says, "I came to Medina and I was looking for Umar ibn al-Khattab. I went to the house, I never saw him. I went to the masjid, I never saw him. I asked people, 'Where is Umar?' They said, 'Umar's in the masjid.' He says, No, that's not possible. I just came from the masjid and I never saw Umar." He says, No, he's there, he's lying in the corner." The Persian man, king, who had an entourage with him, he says, "I went to the masjid, and in the corner of the masjid I saw Umar resting. No entourage, no security, not multiple people around him." So Umar tells the mother, "You know what, take care of your child." The mother says, "I am trying to forcefully wean my child off of milk because I don't want my child to drink milk." So Umar says, "Why? The child is barely a few months old. The child is dependent on your milk." So the mother says, "Umar has passed the verdict that a stipend and some financial aid will only be extended to those children who are on solid, who are not drinking their mother's milk. So I am forcefully trying to wean my child so that I can receive the stipend and I can receive the financial aid and benefit." Umar, he was so moved by his command that he had given, due to which mothers were forcefully weaning their children. Immediately the next day, the Sahaba say he cried so much in Salah, we couldn't even understand what was Umar reciting. We couldn't even understand what is it that Umar is reciting. After Salah is concluded, Umar turns around and he says, "From today onwards, don't forcefully wean your children off the milk. If they require milk and they are dependent on the milk, continue to give them, and a stipend and financial benefit will be extended for everyone." That's who Umar was. One day he's walking, and as he's walking at night, he sees that there's some young children crying. The empathy of the man. Today we don't have empathy. Today we don't show sympathy to people. We're living in a world where this ananiya has destroyed us. It's about me. As long as I'm comfortable, as long as my children have clothes on their back, the rest I'm not too bothered. So he says, I'm walking and I see some children crying. He carries food on his back and he takes it to them. And then he stays with them for the duration of time they consume the meal, and then he leaves. The person that was with him says, oh Umar, you could have dropped off the food and left. He says, these eyes that saw these children crying, I had to make sure these eyes see these children smiling. That's who Umar was. We come on to his death and inshallah we'll conclude. One day Umar radiallahu anh is sitting with Sahaba and he asked Hudayfa radiallahu anh, tell me something about the signs of the end of times, about the fitan. So Hudayfa radiallahu anh explains certain things about the fitan. And at that moment Umar radiallahu anh says to him, no, I'm asking you a different question. Tell me about the fitan that will come towards the end of times, that will be like the darkest night, like wave after wave. And then Hudayfa radiallahu anhu says, between us and those fitan there's a door. And as of now we are protected from those trials and tribulations. Umar radiallahu anhu asks, is that door that you're speaking about, will it be opened or will it be broken? And Hudayfa radiallahu anhu says, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, that door will be broken, it won't be opened. Umar radiallahu anhu gets up and goes home. The way most of you probably don't understand the context, what does this mean? Many Sahaba never understood the context of that conversation between Hudayfa and Umar. Finally, they asked Hudayfa that what was that conversation about? And why did Umar radiallahu anhu so just abruptly get up and go home? Then he says that the door that I was referencing that is currently protecting us from the fitan, that door is Umar radiallahu anhu. And as long as Umar is alive, we are protected from those fitan. And when Umar asked, will that door be opened or will it be broken? And I responded that that door will be broken. It was an indication that Umar radiallahu anh understood that his life will be taken and he will be murdered. One day Umar radiallahu anh is walking. Abu Lu'lu al-Majusi was the Persian slave of Mughira ibn Shu'bah who was responsible for taking the life of Umar. And they had some internal disputes between him and Mughira, and Umar radiallahu anh with justice passed a judgment. And one day as he was walking in the marketplace and he sees Abu Lu'lu al-Majusi with selling knives and spears and these type of things, Umar radiallahu anh says, why don't you give me one? He says, don't worry Umar, I'm going to give you one and the entire world will know about it. And Umar radiallahu anh walks away and he tells whoever was with him, wa'adani al-qatl. He just threatened my life. When I asked him to give me a spear and he said, I will give you one the entire world will hear about, he's threatened me. Sahaba say, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, should we do something? He says, no, nothing's happened. He just made a statement. And as Umar radiallahu anh that day stands in Salatul Fajr, he recites and he leads the congregation in Salatul Fajr that day. It's a dark morning. And as he goes into sujood, Abu Lu'lu al-Majusi comes to the front of the congregation. And he has a double-edged sword or a knife. And he has poisoned both ends. And he jumps on top of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anh and he stabs him no less than 9 times. It was dark. The people at the back started to say Subhanallah. They thought Umar radiallahu anh forgot to get up from his sajda. Abdurrahman bin Auf radiallahu anh says, I was in the front. I concluded the prayer. Abu Lu'lu al-Majusi turned and as he was fleeing, he took the life of multiple companions, and when finally they threw something over him and they grabbed him and he was fearful for his life being taken, he took his own life and he committed suicide. Umar radiallahu anh is unconscious. And as Umar radiallahu anh is laying unconscious, one of the wounds that was critical was a wound that he experienced in his stomach. He regains consciousness and he asks, Asallan nas, have people prayed? I was leading Fajr. Have people concluded their salah? And then they say, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, salah's concluded. He says, bring me some water. He says, bring me some water. The water is presented. He does wudu and he concludes the Fajr that he was performing. They say we tried to give him water, we tried to give him whatever we could to try and give him strength, but whatever we gave exited from his stomach. He was in and out of consciousness, radiyallahu anhu. And then he calls his son Abdullah ibn Umar, because the dua of Umar radiallahu anhu was, Allahumma rzuqni shahadatan fi sabilik, waj'al mawti fi baladi nabiyyik. Oh Allah, I ask you and I beg you to bless me with shahada and martyrdom, and allow me to die in the city of your Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When people would hear the supplication of Umar, they would say, "Oh Amir al-Mu'mineen, people are dying when we go out to Persia and Rome. There is no war that's taking place in Medina." But as the hadith of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam states, when you ask Allah for something and you're genuine, you're sincere, you want Allah to bless you, Allah will make it happen. He died in the city of the Rasul, so he calls his son, he says, "Oh my son, go to Aisha radiallahu anha and tell her I have a request. And when you tell her the request that I have, don't say Amirul Mu'mineen is requesting. Say Umar bin Khattab is requesting. I don't want her to feel that she is obliged to comply with my command because Amirul Mu'mineen is requesting. Tell her I am asking her as a brother." So Abdullah ibn Umar who comes to Aisha radiallahu anha, he says, "My father has a request." What's the request? He says, "If you would be kind enough, my father wishes to be buried next to the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam." Aisha radiallahu anha told you and I what it means to be selfless. Today sometimes we can't give up a place in the saf, people fight. I was there first, I put my tasbih, I put something, I left my phone, I left my scarf, I left my jacket. Yes, there's great virtue in praying salah in the first saf. But what does Aisha radiallahu anha say? The Rasul is buried in her home. The Rasul passed away in her house. It was Abu Bakr, her father, the Rasul, her most beloved husband, and in her mind she always envisioned, that's me. And then she says, I would love to have been buried by the side of my beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But if that's the request of Umar, I will give preference and precedence to the request and the wish and the desire of Umar over what I want. And I will grant Umar his request. Abdullah ibn Umar comes back to his father and he says to Umar, "Oh Umar, I got good news. Aisha has complied with your request." Umar says, "Oh Abdullah, post my demise, I want you to go again to Aisha and ask her again for permission because perhaps she may feel pressured by my request and subsequently she has complied. But once I'm deceased, that pressure won't be there. So I want you to ask again." And at that moment, Uthman radiallahu anhu says, "I entered the room." What a giant of Islam. Uthman radiallahu anhu says, "I entered the room and the command the father is giving the son. He's got his head in the lap of Abdullah ibn Umar and he tells Abdullah, 'Oh Abdullah, place my cheek on the ground.' He says, 'Oh Abdullah, put my face on the floor.' Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu says, 'But my father, my lap, the floor is so close, what's the need? Oh my father, why? Oh my father, do I really need to comply? Do I really need to do it?' And Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu says that, 'I am in need of the rahmah of my Allah. I am in need of the mercy of my Allah. I am in need of the forgiveness of my Allah. Please put my face on the ground.' So perhaps when Allah sees Umar in this state, in this posture, in this condition, perhaps my Allah will extend His rahmah, His clemency and His mercy to me. And perhaps my Allah will forgive me so I can meet my Allah with my Allah having forgiven me. Because if my Allah doesn't forgive me, then I will be destroyed. And my mother gave birth to a son who is in destruction." Umar radiallahu anhu, Abdullah ibn Umar complies. He puts his father's cheek on the ground. Uthman radiallahu anhu says, no sooner did this giant of Islam place his cheek on the ground, he breathes, he takes his last breath and his life is taken. He's a shaheed fi sabilillah. Today you and I, wallahi, we don't even think we're in need of mercy. You and I are not even focused on how will we die and where will we die. And he says, "Oh my son, try and envision for a moment, just take yourself to Medina, you're in that house, Uthman walks in, Abdullah ibn Umar is seated, 'Oh Abdullah, put my face on the ground.' We can't put our face on the carpet. Sometimes we complain, masjid's carpet's too rough. When are they going to install a new carpet? It smells." And Umar, the great Umar, the mighty Umar, his cheek is on the ground, reminding you and I that every one of us will always be in need of the mercy of Allah. We don't know if we will die on kalima. We don't know if we will die with the kalima flowing from our tongues. The young man, his kalima is not coming. Sahaba come to the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Ya Rasulullah, there's a young man, he's struggling to say the kalima. He was pious, righteous. He performed salah, he fasted, he gave sadaqah, charity." And then the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Does he have a mother?" They say, yes. Is his mother alive? Yes. Then the Rasul ﷺ tells them, go and command his mother to take some wood, light a fire and throw her son inside. So then they go to the mother and they say that this is the command of the Rasul. She says, I can't fathom that. How can I burn my son? They say, but your unhappiness over your son isn't allowing the kalima to flow on his tongue. So the Rasul is calling you. So she goes to the Rasul ﷺ. Rasulullah ﷺ says that if you won't light a fire in this world and burn him due to your unhappiness over whatever he may have done to you, despite the fact that he performed salah and tahajjud and qiyamul layl, he will have to experience the fire of Jahannam. So it's better you forgive him. Umar taught you and I that till that last breath, you and I will be dependent on the rahmah and the clemency and the mercy of Allah. And with that, Umar prior to those moments also, an important point I forgot to mention, he gathers some Sahaba and he tells them that amongst yourselves, this is the shura, amongst yourselves you will choose someone who will become the amir and the leader of the ummah. And he taught you and I, and he told them that the leader should have certain characteristics. Whether you're a father, you're a son, you're a teacher, you're an employer, you're an employee, every one of us has authority over someone. We are a leader within our capacity. And what's the sifat and the characteristics of a leader? Number one, qawiyyun min ghayri unfin. You're strong, but you're not harsh. Layyinun min ghayri du'fin. You're soft, but you're not weak. Mumsikun min ghayri bukhlin. You withhold, but you're not miserly. And you spend, but you're not extravagant. These are the four sifat and four characteristics that every one of us needs to have. Don't be so strong that you become harsh. People go away. People can't relate. People can't speak to you. Don't be so soft that people walk all over you. Don't be so withhold so much that you become bakhil and stingy and miserly. And don't waste to the degree where now you're engaging in extravagance. Umar radiallahu anhu's life is a powerful example for where a person can be and where a person can end up. We began with Malik bin Dinar rahmatullahi alayh, where he was and where he ended up. Where did Umar go, and now where is Umar radiallahu anhu buried? He's sleeping, resting next to the man who he once set out to take his life. If that doesn't motivate us to understand that Allah is waiting for us to come back to Him. Allah is waiting, when will you and I make an effort? Wallahi, the fact that we're sitting here, you're sitting, alhamdulillah, there's iman. And that's good. But we need to go from good to great. We're too happy and content just being good Muslims. Why don't we wish to be great Muslims? In the dunya, no one's satisfied with the salary. You want a promotion, you want a bonus. No one's happy with stagnation. But when it comes to Allah, when it comes to our relationship with our Maker, we're so comfortable. We make dua to Allah that He allow us to learn and to take inspiration from the lives of these companions. We ask Allah that He allow us to bring about change. He allow us to bring about change in whatever capacity we can bring about change. He allow us, most importantly, to connect with the Book of Allah. He allow us to connect with Quran. I promise you, for the young, the old, the male, the female, the junior, the senior, the religious, the irreligious, the Quran is the solution for the problems of humanity. And just a mere consistent recitation will change the trajectory of your life. If not today, tomorrow. If not tomorrow, at some time, the Quran will bring about some change. Inshallah, since this is the last class, we'll make a dua. One brother messaged me 2 days ago. He says, can we extend it for a few weeks? So I said, if you start coming, then I'll extend it. He says, no, I watch it online. I catch up online. So I said, you make me drive 40 minutes for you to sit at home and watch it comfortably. No, I'm just joking. But whether we're going to continue or not, inshallah, we'll take a short break. Sometimes it gets monotonous every single week. Even though I have been taking breaks regularly, Brother Umar probably complains. This Saturday I flew. I was in Chicago for the day. And then yesterday I just came back and my flight was delayed. I got back about 2, 3 a.m. So, and we've got some travels coming up. But inshallah, we'll take maybe a month break. And then perhaps since Ramadan is 4 months away, prior to Ramadan, maybe 10 weeks, we'll maybe do something else for 10 weeks perhaps. And then maybe restart and resume after Ramadan, Sahaba again, because we've only scratched the surface. And 20 weeks, I believe we covered 17 companions, 16, 17. Abu Bakr Allahan was, I think, 2, 3 weeks. 17 companions out of 124,000. We haven't even extended our hand to scratch the surface. We ain't done anything. Kuch nahi kiya abhi tak. If you're thinking, Alhamdulillah, 20 hafte tak maine class mein haziri de di, kuch nahi hua. We haven't done anything. So maybe if you got any topics, anything specific you feel we should maybe go through, one one thought I did have, if we continue the class, just a shartiya. If we do, then I was thinking maybe we take a 10-week class on the different campaigns of the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We don't, the seerah, alhamdulillah, Shaykh Yasir Qadi's got an extensive seerah from beginning to end, birth to death. But maybe we just focus on certain elements of the seerah. Maybe with 10 weeks, we go through Badr, Uhud, Khandaq, Ahzab, and Tabuk, and the other campaigns of the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Or maybe we take a surah, and the tafsir is already happening on Wednesday, so we don't really need to delve into tafsir. Another thing we can do is perhaps maybe moving away from the companions, go through some of the saints of the past. We've heard their names, but we don't know who they are. Umar bin Abdul Aziz, we don't know him. Salahuddin Ayyubi, we don't know him. These Imam Ghazali, we don't know him. These great thinkers and those people who contributed greatly to Islamic education, and they were great thinkers, and they wrote amazing books and contributed to our understanding of the faith. We don't know who they are. Jalaluddin Rumi rahmatullahi alayhi, no one knows. Junaid Baghdadi rahmatullahi alayhi, no one knows. We know it's a pious person. Rabia Basriya, who was she? We don't know. Hassan Basri, we hear Hassan Basri over and over again, but do we really know him? So inshallah, let's see what happens. But otherwise, there is the Wednesday class by Mufti Sulaiman. There is a Sunday class, I believe Sundays, after Fajr by Imam Tariq. After Fajr, it's a bit of a difficult one, yeah? But after Fajr, there's a class as well. And I believe there's a class on Saturday as well by Imam Tariq. So, and then Masjid Taqwa has a class Wednesday night. I believe Masjid Rahman in Golden Road also has a class. We'll make dua. We'll make a short dua, inshallah. Since it's the last day, we'll make a short dua, inshallah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك وسلم. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وقنا عذاب الحشر وقنا عذاب الفقر وقنا عذاب الدين. اللهم وفقنا لما تحب وترضى وخذ بناصيتنا إلى البر والتقوى. اللهم ارحمنا بالقرآن العظيم واجعله لنا إماما ونورا وهدى ورحمة. اللهم ذكرنا منه ما نسينا وعلمنا منه ما جهلنا وارزقنا تلاوته آناء الليل وأطراف النهار واجعله لنا حجة يا رب العالمين. اللهم طهر قلوبنا من النفاق وأعمالنا من الرياء وألسنتنا من الكذب وأعيننا من الخيانة فإنك تعلم خائنة الأعين وما تخفي الصدور. اللهم اهدنا واهد بنا واجعلنا سببا لمن اهتدى. اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة الدائمة في الدين والدنيا والآخرة. اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا ورزقا واسعا وعملا متقبلا وشفاء من كل داء. اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين في فلسطين وفي الشام وفي سودان وفي كل مكان. اللهم اكس عاريهم وأطعم جائعهم وآمن خوفهم يا رب العالمين. Oh Allah, as we conclude these durus on the lives of the companions of the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, oh Allah, what amazing personalities they were. Oh Allah, the sacrifices they made. Oh Allah, the love that they had for your Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Oh Allah, we ask you to accept whatever has been said from us, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, we ask you to accept whatever has been heard, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, we ask you to allow us, most importantly, Ya Allah, to see on our mizan of hasanat, our scales of good deeds on the day of Qiyamah, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you cleanse our hearts, and oh Allah, you grant us ikhlas, and oh Allah, you grant us sincerity, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you grant us the tawfiq to be inspired by these companions. Oh Allah, you allow us to implement whatever we've spoken about. Oh Allah, you allow us to name our children after Sahaba, to teach our children about Sahaba. Oh Allah, amongst our children, create and allow our children to have the sifat and the characteristics of Sahaba. Oh Allah, these companions, their beginnings were difficult, but by the end, Ya Allah, oh Allah, some of them went through tragedies, Ya Allah. Some of them lost children, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, Umar radiallahu anh, oh Allah, the way he was martyred, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, the way he was made a shaheed, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, the humility that he had, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, we ask you to give us an ounce of that humility, Ya Allah. An ounce of that tawadu, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you allow us to be humble, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, today we are on top of the ground. Oh Allah, tomorrow we will be buried beneath the ground. Oh Allah, you take us from this dunya. You give us a maut and a death that's an enviable death, Ya Allah. With with the kalima on our tongues, Ya Allah, in the city of your Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you allow us to be khuddam of your kitab, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you allow us to and accept us to be in the service of your book, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, our students at the madrasa, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you accept them. Oh Allah, you elevate them. Oh Allah, you grant them the tawfiq to recite the Quran kama unzil, the way it was revealed, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, as teachers and educators, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, the great responsibility that lays on our shoulders, Ya Allah, that keeps us awake at night, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you allow us to fulfill that responsibility to the greatest of our ability, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you don't bring us on the day of Qiyamah, Ya Allah. And we have a student that demands a haqq that we never gave them, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you allow us to fulfill the haqq to the best that we can, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you accept all children and students of Quran across the globe to recite the Quran beautifully, Ya Allah, to love the Quran, Ya Allah, to love the deen, Ya Allah, to love you, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, we're growing and we're living in a country, Ya Allah. We're living in a continent and a part of the globe, Ya Allah, where everyday children are leaving Islam, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you keep us and our children steadfast on the deen, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you take us with the kalima on our tongue, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, our parents who have made great effort, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you accept them, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you protect them, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you preserve them, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, those of us whose parents are deceased, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you grant them rahmah and maghfirah, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you make their grave a garden from the gardens of Jannah, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you grant them the fragrance and the ra'iyah of Jannah, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, those of us whose parents are sick and ill, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you grant them shifa kamilah, da'imah, ajilah, mustaqimah, mustamirra, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you grant them complete cure, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, grant them immediate cure, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you take all of us with iman, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, those of us who are children and those who are struggling with children and the tarbiyah of their children, oh Allah, you allow and oh Allah, you aid those parents with the tarbiyah of those children, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, the youth today are addicted to drugs, Ya Allah, addicted to alcohol, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you accept us to be a means of taking people out of these dundans of addictions, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, that child is the ummati of your Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, that child's name is Ahmed and Muhammad, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, that girl's name is Hafsa and Khadija, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, the shaitan has deceived them. The shaitan has grabbed them. Oh Allah, you take them out of the trick and the deception of shaitan to the shores of your mercy, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, those parents who are struggling with those difficulties, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you alleviate those difficulties, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you allow those children to come back to deen, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, those who are struggling to have children, you bless them with children, Ya Allah. Those who are married, keep them happy in their marriages, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, those who are struggling to get married, oh Allah, you aid them and assist them in getting married, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, this masjid that has allowed us to host these durus, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you accept them, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you take this masjid from strength to strength, Ya Allah. A beautiful house, Ya Allah. A beautiful masjid that has been built where resources have been exhausted, Ya Allah, for a worshipper to come and for a worshipper to put their forehead on the ground and bow in front of you, Ya Allah, lower themselves in front of you, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, as the time of fitan are coming and as the time of difficulties are coming, oh Allah, we ask you to save us and protect us from the fitna of Dajjal, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, we ask you to protect us from the fitan of whatever fitan are coming towards us, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you protect us in our communities, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you grant us health, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you grant us the ability to serve your deen, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you allow us to be the means of people accepting Islam, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you allow us to bring about change, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, Gaza never changed us, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, Palestine never changed us, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, what will happen for us to change, Ya Allah? Oh Allah, you allow us to come back to you and make those changes that need to be made, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, the A'immah of the Masajid, oh Allah, you support them and help them, Ya Allah. The Masajid, you protect them and preserve them, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, Haramain and Sharifain, oh Allah, you protect it and preserve it, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you free Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, those mothers that are being made widows, those children that are being made orphans, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, we've seen the videos, we've seen the carnage, we've seen the footage, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, we haven't changed, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you alleviate them from those difficulties. Accept the marhumeen al-shuhada. And oh Allah, you show them better days, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you allow us to always uphold justice wherever we go, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you allow us to always show and showcase the akhlaq of the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Ya Allah. Wherever the Rasul went, he was a light, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you allow us to be a light wherever we go, to allow us to touch hearts wherever we go, to connect with people wherever we go. go so that we can connect them back to Allah, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you are the objective. Oh Allah, you are the matloob, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, every Sahabi who we have covered, oh Allah, you elevate them in akhirah, Ya Allah. Every companion who we never covered, oh Allah, you elevate them, Ya Allah. The female companions and the male companions of the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, oh Allah, you elevate them, Ya Allah. And oh Allah, you allow us to love them. Allahumma inna nas'aluka min khayri ma sa'alaka minhu nabiyyuka wa habibuk Muhammadun sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, wa na'udhu bika min sharri ma ista'adhaka minhu nabiyyuka wa habibuk Muhammadun sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Anta al-musta'an wa alayka al-balagh wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.